What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Frostbite on Dead of Night. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Dead of Night is the map where we have to destroy 151 infested structures to clean out the infestation. This would be easy were it not for the fact that the infested structures all spawn enemies at night and attack our base, alongside several special infested mag-mines are all around the map. They deal 250 splash damage, but you can dodge them. Storm clouds move across the map. They slow and damage your guys.
Sticksbender, how do we rank this week?
Blizzard and Mag-mines, both of these are mostly just focused around making it much more annoying to actually clear buildings. They don't directly threaten your base, aside from Mag-mines that get dragged into your base by someone who's carelessly clearing mines. This can mean your ally, who isn't actually being careful and accidentally blows up your entire mineral line, which will be upsetting if that happens.
Can't ever
which is
imagine
also
it happening.
incentive to make sure you clear them first so you do it correctly. Anyways, commanders are going to basically get their ratings based on their ability to clear buildings without having to actually engage with the enemy bases, because that way they can avoid ever having to deal with the storm of mag-mines, because they can just blow up the buildings from afar. It also will be helpful if you're able to defend easily, partially because if you don't have someone who's good at killing buildings without engaging with the bases, mag-mines are going to slow down clearing a lot. It's very tedious to actually clear out bases when you have to constantly be backing off, dodging mag-mines, and then engaging, and then backing off again, over and over and over again. So, again, commanders with good defense, commanders with good cheesing.
I like how you talk about mag-mines slowing down the clearing without actually even acknowledging that Blizzard exists.
Blizzard exists, it's just that the mag-mines are the far more threatening mutator.
That's true.
You can still die to blizzards, especially if you have squishy units. So if you have fragile units that have to suffer from blizzards, even though the blizzard damage should, for most commanders, be less significant than the mag-mine that now hits you because you're trapped in a blizzard. But if you have fragile units that die to blizzards, that's negative points against you.
Okay.
So
how about you, Twotuuuu?
So aside from that, on top of that, commanders who can defend really well, even if they can't clear very well, will still do well because the enemies aren't stronger. So even if you need to take extra days to clear this, as long as your base doesn't die, you'll be fine.
Okay, so let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
So Abathur's first night, he probably won't have a brutalist, but you don't actually lose because of that. So what you can do is just make lots of spine crawlers and survive. After the first night, you should get enough biomass to start getting swarm hosts, and Abathur in the late game, he will just never die because he has the 100 biomass swarm hosts plus vipers in case of stanks and stuff. So yeah, I put him in A.
Okay, A. How about you, Sticksbender?
So yeah, I will note, just as a general thing for this whole tier list, the first night is a lot easier than you think it is, and vanilla static defense can hold it with surprisingly little investment. But yeah, Abathur can easily hold the first night with spine crawlers as a result. And once you have a critical mass of swarm hosts, they can both defend easily, and they're pretty good with pushing, because even though they're not very fast, the locusts will be eating all the mag-mines, not the swarm hosts themselves, assuming you have a critical mass.
Yes.
So as a result, it ends up being a very easy clearing experience. It ends up being a relatively easy defending experience. It's very, very slow, but it will eventually get through. I'm a little hesitant to put him in A tier, just because I feel like you can do a fair bit better than Abathur. You can find people who are similarly easy, but like a lot faster. But I mean, Abathur is pretty easy. So A tier is probably fine if you are patient.
Okay, so both of you are fine with A tier. Let's put Abathur in A tier. Prestige-wise, just don't use a third. Second one. Okay, you definitely want the second one.
Second one is generally the best option if ever you're doing Swarm Host Abathur.
Okay.
Especially since it reorients the Locust towards DPS, because by default they do not deal damage. They are just a tanking unit.
Alright, so Abathur goes in A tier.
I know,
Alarak,
right?
where do we have him?
Okay, so Alarak, Alarak is really fast about killing infested, but he has to do everything manually, and he's also not great against Magmines. So this is a pretty bad situation for Alarak. Your defense would have to be unit based. Your offense, it's unit based again. The best option you have for clearing Magmines with Alarak is to catch the Magmines with Alarak's face, because then it's hitting only one target and thus killing one supplicant, and that's it. Whereas if it hits your army, it kills a lot more than one supplicant.
Sometimes
if you're
two.
only losing one supplicant per mine, if you're only, yes. If you're only losing one supplicant per Magmine, you are fine. Especially if you are using P1 Alarak, because a lot of times with P1 Alarak, people will be attacking their own supplicants anyways in order to fuel their Wrathwalkers. If you're just catching all of the Magmines with Alarak's face, and then that naturally kills supplicants and fuels your Wrathwalkers, you're in a pretty good spot. Until a stray Magmine kills all your Wrathwalkers and you cry.
Yes. Or your ally
In
baits
general-
a stray Magma into your Wrathwalkers.
Yeah.
And you rage instead of cry.
In general, I would say Alarak, like, I've done a solo with Alarak on this mutation. He felt fine, but it's definitely like you're doing everything manually, so it's not easy. Alarak can do it just fine, but you have to do everything by hand. So probably B tier or C tier, depending on how much you want to like tilt towards being easy to use.
Okay. B or C. What do you think, Twotuuuu?
So his defense is really good. His offense is not good, just because you need units, and the Magmines and Blizzards slow him down so much that it's just like you have to be super careful. And his defense starts falling off in the later nights because you need to defend multiple fronts,
Yes.
and you'll need to fight like a lot of stanks and stuff. And especially if you go like if you go so late, like night 6 or 7, you start to run out of money. Then your defenses won't hold, so you can't survive too long. And you're clearing, you've got to be very careful in clearing. I put him in C.
C. Okay, so both of you are okay with C. Let's put Alarak in C. Prestige-wise, you want the third one, right?
I would personally prefer
one.
P1.
Oh, first Prestige. Okay, that's fine too. Both of you agree with first Prestige. Let's put Alarak first Prestige C tier. Arcturus, where do we have him?
So Arcturus, he can defend at home, and he doesn't need to go out to kill most of the things. So that's really good. The enemies aren't stronger, so you just defend at home. You ESO blast everything. The things that you can't reach with ESO, you can just get them last by dropping troopers or something near them, or like flying or teleporting a Pride of Augustgrad to the edge and then taking him out. I put him in S.
S tier. Okay. How about you, Sticksbender?
Yep, Arcturus gets an easy S tier. Like, you just use ESOs and bunkers. Bunkers defend everything, ESOs clear everything. Hey, look, we didn't even have to engage with the map. That's what we talked about at the beginning. It's great.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is, War for Home is S tier. So let's put Arcturus in S tier. Prestige-wise, anyone, I guess? Third one, first one? Yeah.
Literally any. All of the above are good.
Okay. Let's move on.
Technically, I would say slightly worse on P1 because you don't have the nukes to clear out the far bases. You have to use a battle cruiser, which is slightly less convenient.
Okay. Dehaka, where do we have him?
Dehaka, he can survive really long. He just kind of sucks at clear. Well, he's not even that bad, because if you get like Dock Run, you just charge clear mines, and then during the daytime, Dehaka plus a small group of Guardians or Mutalisks or something can clear whatever hasn't died yet. Yeah, he can. His defense is really good. You just have Impalers plus a few Impalers, Primal Hosts, and Guardians to defend. And when there was Just Die, I survived to night 6. So without Just Die, you can survive even longer. So I think his defense is fine. So yeah, I put him. His clearing is not great, but his defense is good, and his clearing is not terrible either. So his clearing is like average, and his defense is good. So I put him in A.
Okay. What do you think, Sticksbender?
I kind of agree with the same points, but I'd probably put it in B because like his defense is quite good. His clearing is Yeah, it's average. Is it average? I guess it's average. It feels like it's average, but the people who are above average can get way above average, like Mansk and others.
That's why Arcturus is S tier.
Yeah, there's a basically I feel like there's a pretty clear gap between Abathur and Dehaka to me.
Really?
Is basically what I'm saying.
I think Reaper are pretty good at clearing. Just use like worms or pack eaters for the straggling buildings.
Yeah, okay, I guess it's not that big of a gap. Okay, I guess I'm okay with A tier on Dehaka. I think Abathur's still better, but I can see A tier.
Not by whole tier, probably. Yeah?
Not by whole tier, you're right.
Okay, so Dehaka goes in A tier. Prestige-wise, any prestige will work?
P2 tends to be preferable.
Yeah, any prestige, but P2 is preferable. Okay, Dehaka in A tier. Phoenix, where do we have them?
Phoenix, I don't see any easy way to cheese the map. I don't see stellar defense, although Colossi are okay, depending on which special infested you get. Not great. It's probably somewhere in C tier, because his clear is not great and his defense is passable. So, sounds a lot like Alarak and Artanis, basically.
What do you think, Twotuuuu?
He has he has average defense and not great clearing. So I put him in C.
Okay, both of us agree with C. Ha! There we go. Prestige-wise, you want the second one?
No, not the second one.
No, definitely. Yeah, if it's the second one, it's F.
So, first one.
It's that bad. It's so bad. P0 is a pretty good default for Phoenix. P1 and P3 are usually just slight modifiers on P0. So
anything except not the second one. Okay, so Phoenix goes in...
touch P2 with a 10-meter pole.
Phoenix goes in C tier. There we go. Let's move on. Han and Horner, where do we have them?
They can clear the map from home.
Where from home?
The blizzard kind of slows them down a little, but not that much. They'll still hit their targets, but their defense is just like non-existent pretty much. The good thing is the enemies aren't stronger, so you can still do this, but you have to be really fast. And yeah, I think because they need someone to defend for them in order for them to do their thing, I can't give them higher than a C. They do their part.
So equal contribution, C tier. What do you think, Sticksbender?
Am I just expecting people to be too on top of actually building and launching strike fighters? The reality is, the first nights, even if you're just using over glorified Marines, which is what the Reapers kind of are, you can still hold for a while. You're going to be losing a lot of resources holding, but they're mineral-only units, and as long as you are getting on top of your strike fighters, there won't be a night 3 if you're really on top of them. Han and Horner can clear really, really fast. So even though defending is going to be painful and expensive, you can literally end the game before that cost builds up to a point where you can't bear it anymore. So I would say that Han and Horner can go into... I would almost consider them for S, but like the S tiers have like an easy defense and an easy clear. So Han and Horner just have like, an S plus tier clear, and then a defense that needs that clear in order to be able to survive. So A or B, I would think, honestly. Like, it's not actually that bad defending Knights 1 and 2 with Han and Horner if you don't have to worry about spending resources on attacking.
Weren't we just saying that comparing someone's defense to Han and Horner is an insult?
It is an insult, but the thing is, using a mediocre defense to defend night 5 versus using a terrible defense to defend night 2, I think I'd actually rather the terrible defense on night 2, just because night 2 is so much easier than night 5.
I guess it depends on what special infested you get, and whether you get Terran enemies.
I mean, what's Terran enemies really going to do?
Nuke.
To be honest.
Nuke.
They'll nuke you, yeah, but the nukes... Don't the nukes only come out on day 3?
Yes.
So
you're not going to finish by night 2.
You've got the map like a good 70% cleared at least by day 3, right?
What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too fast. Maybe it's more like 60% or something, or 50%. But at absolute worst case scenario, I don't think there's going to be a Knight 4 with Honor Horner.
Yeah, there will be a Knight
Basically.
4 with Han and Horner. What do you think, Tutu?
And yeah.
I guess because the enemies aren't stronger, and they do help clear magmines, even if they didn't intend to.
Unintentionally.
Just accidentally get rid of them.
But I don't think they can go like. I wouldn't put them
Defending Knight
above.
3 is going to be hard. Defending Knight 2 is not really that hard. You lose minerals, but oh well. Defending Knight 3 is going to be actually
Nightmare.
somewhat difficult.
Yeah, you can't let the stanks get in.
Yeah. If you do have to defend Knight 3, it might be worth it to like turn the strike fighters onto defense. They do leave the napalm behind, which is nice for just roasting all the small infested, so you can just focus on killing the big infested with Reapers.
No.
Because if you survive Night 3, you have all of day 3 to finish clearing the map.
Airstrikers are only for clearing. You can't use them for defense.
You can, but you just.
I mean, I'd rather use my airstrikers to defend Night 3 and make sure I live, and then have the whole day 3 to just uncontested finish off clearing the rest of the map with airstrikes.
Yes. If you have
if I can survive
units,
without the airstrikes on Night 3, then sure, just keep clearing.
If you have your regular units, just delete the uncontested buildings, like the ones on the far east side and the ones below the high ground in the northwest. Maybe.
Yeah, there's a bunch of uncontested buildings you can clear without needing strike fighters for them too.
Anyway, so
which can speed you up a little bit.
What do you think, Tutu?
So what's the proposed letter? I said C earlier.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. It's somewhere probably between A and B.
How about B star?
Definitely too low.
Like you can be.
I think B is okay.
Okay.
B.
No star, just B. Okay, let's put Hot and Horner in B tier. Prestige wise, first one probably, right?
Yeah, that gives you a little bit more buffer.
Okay, let's move on. Karax, where do we have him?
So Karax is easily another S tier. Especially because, so remember how we originally mentioned how like one of the ways you can just get trolled in this mutation is by having your ally accidentally pull a mag mine onto your mineral line and then it always blows up and now you don't have any workers?
Yes.
Man, would be really helpful if we just had a one-time immunity shield on all of our workers so they just wouldn't die to the first mag mine to hit them. Wouldn't that be convenient?
I believe it also refreshes every 4 minutes or something. So
yeah.
It's pretty great.
That sounds super convenient. Man, imagine if there was a commander who had that. Anyways, you can also, so it's not quite Han and Horner levels of easy to do it because you do need vision, but if you just fly observers around the edge of the map, you can just get vision to solar lance all the buildings, and once you have the burning ground upgrade on the solar lance, a single solar lance will destroy the buildings. With a lot of overkill even. Even if the solar lance damage itself misses the building, actually, the burning area is wider than the actual solar lance. And the burning area by itself does 600 damage. And the buildings have 500 hit points. So you can literally just clear the whole map with solar lances and then a couple orbital strikes on the bigger, beefier buildings. And if there's somewhere that's hard to get vision of, you have a Purifier Beam every 3 minutes. And that Purifier Beam even gives vision so that if it isn't able to clear it by itself, you also have the solar lance. Yes. You can literally just clear everything with top bar. By the way, the Purifier Beam every 3 minutes, to state the obvious, this is because I'm assuming P3. It's way easier with P3. You can do it without P3. It'll just be slower.
Yes. Letter. S?
Easy S. I would say Karax is literally the best commander in the game for this mutation.
What do you think, Tutu?
Yeah, I put him in A earlier, but I forgot there's Unity Barrier, and that helps a lot.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And my reasoning for A was stanks, but I guess you can lose a few buildings and it doesn't matter.
Just build more monoliths. Eventually you can get enough monoliths that the stanks don't even get to actually do anything. They don't have any mutators boosting them.
That's true. You probably should clear before stanks though. To be honest. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just make life less stressful for yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
so,
in case of stanks, monoliths got him.
I guess. Anyway, both of you say S.
The observer spreading is not as like if you're not used to using Karax, you're just like not sure how to spread observers sometimes, and then like you want, because you need to spread the observers in at different areas so that you use 3 lances on 3 different sets of structures. But one observer doesn't really see 3 sets; it might see like 2.
You can see 3 in some angles, but worst case scenario, you see 2 sets, and then you waste one of the solar lance shots and slow yourself down. If you have to defend night 3, there is, what is it, 1 or 2 stinks? I think it's 2, right?
The first night is 1 stink.
Oh, it's only 1 stink.
Yes.
You are not going to die to 1 stink. You will have enough money to build like 10 monoliths and vaporize the stink. So if you are using multiple observers to be able to fire your solar lances maximally efficient, you can clear really fast with Karax. If you aren't, you can still clear fast enough that you can easily defend. And realistically, Karax is one of the commanders who can indefinitely defend if you really are building up your defense on this map. So,
okay, S tier.
An indefinite defense with an easy, uninteractive clear.
Okay, Karax S tier. Well, you do agree with S tier, right, Twotuuuu?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Oh, Prestige, 1/3 one. Kerrigan, where do we have him?
Kerrigan has pretty decent defense and good mine clearing, because you just pop Omegas, they take some hits or whatnot, and then you can just pop out. Immobilization wave will clear all, like pretty much all the enemies in that, most of the dangerous enemies in that area, and then Kerrigan herself just jumps around and finishes the buildings. You don't even really need to move units out, but if you want, you can move like some ultras to help clear, and if they get hit by Blizzard, they don't die. Hydras will die, so you don't want those. And yeah, I put Kerrigan in A.
Wow, just an A tier? Come on. Kerrigan is a boss who goes to the office, whereas her workers get to work from home. That's a very good place to work for. What do you think, Sticksbender?
Yeah, I actually would almost consider for S tier, but like, you can't quite keep up with just how good the S tiers are.
That's
it's
true.
Really good. There's an argument for Kerrigan S tier because, like, especially if you're not using P3, even if you're caught inside a blizzard, you're not going to get hit by mag mines. You can just jump 12 range away.
Okay, so Kerrigan A tier. Let's put her in A tier.
Kerrigan easy top of A tier. Yeah.
What prestige here? Not the 3rd one, because you want to be able to jump.
0.
No prestige.
I would personally prefer P2, but yeah, P0 is also a good option. P0, P2, good options.
Okay, 0 or 2. I think I want a more powerful mobilization wave, so I would not use 2, but yeah, either one should work. Just use your preference. Don't use 3rd because you want to jump. Don't use 1st because you want Omega Worms. Nova! Yep. Where do we have him?
Nova does P3. She sets up a base defense, and then she goes out and clears the map. The mag mines will still go for you.
Yes.
And blizzards will still affect you while you are super cloaked. So it is very possible to lose Nova if you are not paying attention. This is a minor inconvenience because you just pay a couple minerals and get her back.
The cheapest.
So basically, yeah, Nova works from home, except she just sends her hero unit out to be out on the map, but not really out on the map because she's permanently super cloaked. So she works from home with a hologram of her going to the office.
Yeah, sort of like that. So S tier?
Yeah, easily S tier.
What do you think, Twotuuuu?
Yeah, she can, like, pretty much when you're using Sabotage Drone, you're paying attention to her. And if anything, you can dump a defense drone right in front so that the defense drone takes the hit instead of her.
Yes.
Or you defense drone and then give yourself the shield manually if you're that fast, but even if you don't, the defense drone can take the shot.
Yes.
S is good. Her liberators, tanks, everything's at home just defending.
Yeah. All right, Nova S tier. Plus, if you are out of defensive drone charges, you can just pick her up, then drop her back down the same place. Stet Boy, where do we have him?
He has a hero unit who can solo clear, just like Kerrigan, and he has a fine defense with lurkers and ultralisks, just like Kerrigan. Wow, it's almost like Stetmann is basically Kerrigan in this mutation. Except he doesn't have worms.
No Zerglings.
His hero unit can also teleport. Oh, right, Zerglings. Yeah, you have your Zerglings. So the thing with the Zerglings is that, on one hand, yes, Zerglings can just absorb mag mines. However, they are atrocious against the infested, obviously. And they also are going to immediately run to
best
problems if
oil.
they're getting hit by blizzards. They do okay. You can use them to generate best oil for Gary. I don't think the Zerglings actually make an impactful difference on rating. I think it's entirely optional whether you use the Zerglings as Stetmann on this mutation.
Yeah.
But-
Everything other than Stetboy, everything other than Super Gary is optional. Technically.
Well, defending with only Super Gary is going to get awkward when you're trying to defend on multiple fronts. But yeah, you have Lurkers and Ultras. Both are very good units for defense. So you just make defending units. You clear with Gary. Zergling's optional if you want to give a little bit of extra boost to Gary. And yeah, he's just slightly worse Kerrigan, basically.
Okay.
He's slightly worse in every way, but he's the same tier. So hey.
What do you think, Twotuuuu?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same. He can clear Magmines with his Statelites. So
That's true. You clear
Technically
Magmines
true.
Statelites.
you clear
The aggro.
clear Magmines with Statelites, but at the same time, the Statelites will turn off the Magmines. The Blizzards will turn off the Statelites.
That's
The
also
Blizzards
true.
will turn off the Statelites and then clear. So I think P3 is actually better than P2 for this one because it's Dead of Night as well. P3 Ultralists,
Okay.
lots of eating. A is good.
Okay. Stetboy goes in A tier. Prestige-wise, we want the third one. Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov, so P3's trash against. It's good against Magmines, very bad against Blizzard. You won't get anywhere. His defense is really good, but his offense is not good. So, well, his offense. And his Magmine clearing also not. His Magmine clearing is okay once you get vision of something, and then you can infest structure. But with Blizzards, it makes it harder to clear that much, because normally what you do is you infest structure and then you spread the broodlings so that they clear a lot of mines. But with Blizzard, it might be harder to do that. He also has can Diamondbacks pull spotters down? I don't remember. But
I would
either
not
way,
know.
you can use bunkers. You can use bunkers. They'll get shut down by spotters though. So it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
He has great defense. His offense is very
Slow.
bad. So I put him in B.
B. You're gonna offend. We're gonna offend a lot of Stukov fans here. What do you think, Sticksbender?
Honestly, I think that Blizzard is more of an inconvenience to Stukov than a genuine threat. But, well, okay, if you're out on the map with Diamondbacks or something, then it could be a genuine threat. But I would say clearing out of Broodlings to clear out the Magmines, maybe a Blizzard gets in the way for some directions, so you clear slightly fewer Magmines. You're still going to clear a ton of Magmines with a single cast of Infest Structure, and it's not a particularly long cooldown. I also would say that I've used P3 against Blizzards before. It's not that bad, depending on the map shape. I don't think it's unusable. But what I do think is awful is trying to defend on Dead of Night with P3 when you could have been defending with not P3. It's so much better if you are using not P3 to defend. So I would say don't use P3 because it will make your life a lot easier when defending if your bunkers have guns in them.
Yes.
Aside from that, he's got a solid defense, but it's not astoundingly good, and he's got a fine clear, but it's not amazing. I'd consider C tier for Stukov.
C tier?
But I'd be willing to see B tier. I think I would without having been told B tier, I think I would lean to C tier, but I'm not opposed to B tier.
Good enough for me. Stukov B tier. Prestige wise, not third one or second
So it's
one.
1.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or 0.
Or no
so-
prestige. That'll work too. No prestige or
I would
first
probably
prestige.
lean to P0.
Not second prestige. Swann, where do we have him?
One has indefinite defense.
Yep.
He's got great turrets that he can repair for free.
Yep.
And he's got good siege tanks that are still worse than Rainer's tanks, which I still find hilarious. And he can clear the whole map with the laser drill.
Yes.
He also has floating factories, his best unit in the entire game, which can absorb a surprising number of Magmines. And if they absorb too many Magmines and die, Who
150.
cares? They're not expensive. So, basically, Swann's another work from home guy, basically, and
Yes.
it's the same thing as Raynor. He's a work from home guy. He's a bit slow for a work from home guy. He's like slower than the S tier people, but he's still a work from home guy with an indefinite defense. So I think that I would probably Swann. I would personally put Swann with Raynor, except I would have put them both in S tier. So I'm just going to continue to vouch for S tier Swann.
What do you think, Twotuuuu?
He's slow, so I put him in A because he's really slow. Like he's slow to the point where your ally might be wondering, like, is this guy gonna clear anything at all? Because yeah,
He
does. If you know like how to or like where to aim concentrated beams and stuff, even without it, you have Hercs to help line up shots. You can help that way. Pulse cannon, Herc, pulse cannon, very good. So he is very reliable. He doesn't have a good Mag-mine clearer that like, except from like teleporting a Herc pulse cannon.
Yeah.
Moving a floating factory from the side, like it's a way, but it's not like your main way. I don't think it's gonna be a main way. So yeah, I put him in A. He's still solid.
I would personally recommend the floating factory fleet, but the factories are spread out a bit so that the Mag-mine splash isn't hitting multiple factories at the same time, which will naturally happen because the factories as flying units will want to spread out so their model is completely outside of other units, and factories are chonky. So as long as you aren't like, pushing your factories together into a ball, if you know the concept of magic boxing, magic box your factories. And then they will not have to worry about the Mag-mines, because even if the Mag-mines kill some factories, they are not very expensive. You can just keep making factories while having an unbreakable defense at home. So, and then, like, if you're using only top bar to kill buildings, yes, Swann will be very slow. If you are actually using the laser drill to attack buildings as well, then Swann is not that slow. So that is my recommendation. Lots of floating factories. You've got a very strong defense. Don't go too hard into the floating factories early game. Make sure you have a stable defense set up first, but then once you've done that, you can just make like 20 factories, float your fleet, and
float to your heart's content. Okay, let's put Swann in A tier because it's not unanimous. It's not S. Prestige-wise, first prestige or second prestige, I guess.
Second one.
Second one? Okay.
Not the first one. You want the concentrated
beam.
I probably would say that it's fine to use the first one, but it's going to be slower clearing with the first one. But if you don't know how to line up the concentrated beam shots, then you're not actually gaining that much by using P2 or P0 anyways. So
I think it's still better because the splash when you're targeting buildings,
turrets are still stronger.
True, P2 turrets are still stronger. Yeah, P2 is probably better. Okay, P2 is the recommended prestige. I will say, if you have only P0 Swann, you will be fine.
Yes, you will be fine. Still A. No prestige one, still A. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus, he's good at defense and offense until like it gets too late. So if the game lasts too long, you will die. So you'll get overwhelmed. But until then, because he's just one unit, he can avoid Mag-mines. You have medevac as well. Blizzard doesn't kill him. So the other problem like for Tychus is chokers. So no chokers, and his other things, like he's pretty good. He's as long as you're pretty fast. Blaze is really good if he doesn't get choked. I put Tychus in B.
B? Oh my Donnie. What do you think, Sticksbender?
Man, I still remember when Tychus wasn't too bad against chokers, and then they nerfed chokers to be stronger against Tychus. It was hilarious.
Nerfed chokers. Okay.
So what happened is they made it so that now, instead of just targeting 3 units, chokers will target 3 units or 1 heroic unit. Here's the problem. When chokers see only 2 units, they just won't choke. They wait for a 3rd unit to show up. So it used to be if you had 2 outlaws defending a front and chokers showed up, they just wouldn't grab your outlaws unless a 3rd unit showed up. Now, they'll just grab one of the outlaws immediately.
Can you like bait 3 SCVs or something?
You could, but the SCVs will die pretty quick, and then they'll just grab an outlaw after that.
Thought I had
Either
a
way,
cooldown.
chokers are annoying. The critical breakpoint to know for Tychus, which will make your life a lot easier on this, is if you have P2 Tychus, you need to have 2 other outlaws recruited aside from Blaze. So you have a total of 3 outlaws on the field, and at that point, Blaze's spreading fire will one-shot all the small buildings.
Nice. Very nice.
That is
Okay.
the critical breakpoint once you get your 3rd outlaw out. And that will allow you to clear without even having to go there, except it kind of has a bad habit of missing spots, so it's a little bit...
Yeah.
You sometimes have to go in there. You'll have to pay attention to the green pings on the minimap to know when you have to go in there and when you're fine to just say, hey, look, it all died. Either way, gives Tychus good clearing. I don't think his defense is very good, personally, because I would be too worried about the fact that it's very like either you don't get chokers and it's okay, or you do get chokers and it's awful. Also, Hunterlings are also a stun lock. Chokers aren't the only stun lock. Hunterlings will also stun lock you.
Very
And
sad.
basically, the only difference between chokers and Hunterlings is if you're paying attention, you can dodge the Hunterlings because it's a dodgeable skill shot thing. But if you're looking away for half a second, and it's especially bad if you're trying to defend on 2 fronts, if you're looking away for half a second, oh, Hunterling landed on one of your outlaws, that is a stun lock just as much as the choker is.
Yep.
So, and in both cases, the medevac can grab the outlaw out of the stun. But in both cases, if you don't have a medevac, your outlaw is dead. He's gone.
Yep.
So I would say that's 2 out of 3 special infested that make Tychus's defense miserable.
4.
So I would say he's pretty terrible at defending. He's not like Han and Horner bad, but I think he might be the next worst. Well, okay, no, that's right. The 3rd worst at defending. So I would say B tier is okay. I might lean towards C tier just because, like, no, he's really bad at defending. Even if his clearing is good, it's only good. It's not like great. It's just good. And his defending is awful. So I think I'm going to say Tychus C tier.
What do you think, Twotuuuu?
I don't think his defense is awful, but the luck factor should be considered. I don't think I never consider Hunterlings a threat because you have Sirius. You just you have turrets thrown down all the time. So
But your turrets can kill a choker just as well.
No. Because the Hunterlings will go to you. The chokers grab you from afar. That's different, right? So when the Hunterlings are jumping at you, you're with your turrets, whereas the choker will pull you away from your turrets.
True.
So I've never really been afraid of Hunterlings. I'm more afraid of
Chokers.
It's just always the chokers.
It's just always the chokers.
So
my experience is that I find Hunterlings to be pretty nasty, actually, but it's kind of like, I think that chokers are still worse than Hunterlings. Hunterlings are just there to be like, even if you get lucky and you dodge rolling chokers, you can still roll Hunterlings, and it's almost as bad. So, yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's basically 2 out of 4 special infested are really nasty for Tychus. So I'd say his defense is terrible unless you get the correct 2 special infested of specifically spotters and kaboomers, in which case his defense is fine. Which to me feels like that's too inconsistent. That's not even 1 in 3 games where your defense feels good.
So I guess our contention point is whether the Hunterlings are bad enough.
I would say I would still think he's better than the C's just because the Blaze thing is really, really good. It's
really
somewhat
good.
work from home. It's kind of work from home.
Kind of.
And with P2 Tychus,
it literally is.
As I kind of said, if it gets to night 4, you probably die. So you're going for a fast clear. You're rushing for a fast clear. So my only problem with Tychus is chokers, and I guess to some extent Hunterlings.
I'm almost willing to say we put Tychus in tier C and then shove the whole of tier C down to tier D, just because it feels wrong to me for Tychus to be in the same tier as Han and Horner. I feel like Han and Horner is a tier better than Tychus.
A whole tier.
But it is true that Tychus is probably better than what's currently in C tier right now because of the Blaze thing.
Yeah, the Blaze thing's pretty awesome.
The Blaze thing's pretty awesome. I still think Han and Horner is comfortably better than Tychus to the point that I'd put Han and Horner a tier above Tychus.
What do you think, Twotuuuu?
So spreading the tier list out might be the solution.
Well, C, the definition of C is like
Equal
you
contribution.
contribute your part, right? So you do your part. Whereas like the people above is like you do more of the carrying stuff. And the C people, I think they will still do their stuff by existing. They're not detrimental. Tychus, bottom
I'm more
of B.
opposed to Tychus being in the same tier as Han and Horner than I am opposed to Tychus being in the same tier as Alarak, Arcturus, Fenix. So I would be fine just saying Tychus goes into C tier and be done with it. I don't think that Tychus is as good as Han and Horner. I think that Han and Horner's like level of clear speed is very consistent and very fast. And
The clear
Tychus
speed is a huge
reasonably
deal.
fast, not very consistent.
Yeah.
And if you do happen to roll chokers, Tychus isn't that much better than Han and Horner at defending, which is
That's
sad.
true. That's true. You can't get
The
very
luck
unlucky
factor-
as Tychus.
The luck factor is pushing me to agree with C. Just because there's two, it's like you're completely shut out if it's one of the four.
Yes.
And kind of shut out if it's another of the four.
And you roll twice. You don't roll once, you roll
And you roll
twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
Tychus.
you can't roll the same thing twice, so it's not like 2 1 and 4s, it's a 1 and 4 and a 1 and 3.
Yeah, so it's worse. So, okay. So
I can.
Okay, Tychus
C,
goes in...
I can agree with C.
Tychus goes in C
Probably
tier.
hot at the top of C, but that's later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. I'm actually thinking of what Sticksbender said earlier, putting the C guys into D tier. I'm considering arguing for that. Okay, Zagara, where do we have him?
So now this is a real commander that struggles with both. Like defense, you have bio launchers. That's about it, and those are clunky to use. Clearing, you don't really have anything. Like Zerglings going from the front, not really good. Zagara deep tunneling to clear Magmites, not good. Getting stuck in Blizzard, not good. Using Roach Drop to clear, not good. So I put Zagara in actual D.
Actual D? Okay. What do you think, Sticksbender?
Oh, I thought she'd be down in E, but I suppose she can make actual D because of bio launchers and because of P3.
Alright. So E or D,
Sure.
somewhere.
Actual D, maybe E. There goes
Actual
Zagara,
D,
but-
maybe E. Alright, there we go. Yeah, are we all happy now?
Yes.
Yay.
Okay. Zeratul, where do we have him?
A tier because Cannon's good. but,
Cannon's good.
Like he's not like the 3 true work from home commanders level of good.
What? He's literally work from home. He just call your
The
cannons.
Magmites will slow down the cannons a fair bit, and
Which
thanks
is still work from
can-
home.
and still kill cannons.
Still work from
So,
home.
Like he's work from home, but he's not Karax from home or Nova from home or Manx from home.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying S, but like, yeah. Okay, A2. What do you think,
He's
Twotuuuu?
A tier.
What do you think, Twotuuuu?
Oh, I put him in S just because you're not supposed to just make cannons. You make abrogators, and they scale with the upgrades because you get infinite upgrades. And the only units that are going out are Zeratul, who blinks around clearing mines pretty safely. Even if he gets hit, he has invincibility plus a lot of HP. He just can't get hit by like 3 at once.
Yes.
And you have cannons that
Are good.
to clear mines, and then later you can project them to clear buildings slowly, if anything. And so
Watchers.
he clears pretty safely. He can even if there are chokers, once like you get your invincibility back, the chokers let go and you blink away. So he's not really scared of any special infested. So that's why I put him in S. And as the game goes longer, he also gets stronger. Unlike a lot of other commanders.
That's true.
Who get stronger only by army, but his
That's true.
Zeratul gets stronger without having to pay.
You can be
doesn't
actually
need money.
almost invincible with like 43 armor or something with enough fragments. Are you convinced, Expender?
I would note the invincibility is only going to save you from additional Magmine hits if they are really synchronized, because it's a quarter second of invincibility. It is not a long time. It's more just going to break you from choker stuns. And then if you want to survive Magmines, the solution is blinking away from them, not relying on the invincibility. The bigger thing the invincibility helps with is Widow Mines, because it resets their lock-on. But anyways, that's
not here.
Point.
Yes.
And his offense is, it's basically, he feels a lot like Raynor and Swann to me. He's got a defense that's strong, although Zeratul is slightly weaker, and he's got a clear that is quite safe, but not incredibly fast. So
that's a good
I would
point.
say Zeratul is A tier because I don't think he's noticeably better than Raynor and Swann.
All right, not unanimous, therefore not S. So Zeratul goes up to, I should say, A tier. So, do we have a double S?
No.
No, of course not. Who's top of S tier?
I mean, we could actually have a double S. I kind of like at the start of this tier list. It was like right when we got to Nova, I immediately remembered, oh right, it's Dead of Night as Nova.
Yeah,
right.
if there's to be a double S, it'll be Nova because she's top of S, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like even when I was going over Karax and saying that I thought Karax was probably the best commander, it's because we hadn't gone to Nova yet for me to immediately remember, oh right,
it's this
P3
map.
Nova on Dead of Night is not fair.
Yes. That's why I like Nova, because I hate Dead of Night.
It's like the Manx Gun Oblivion Express thing. It's Nova on Dead of Night. It just kind of breaks the map.
Okay, and then Karax and Arcturus, right?
Yeah.
Who's top of A tier?
Zeratul.
I would vouch for Raynor.
Okay, who's better between them?
I would say Raynor, and Twotuuuu would comfortably say Zeratul. So it's kind of.
I don't see how Raynor's better. I don't see how Raynor's better than Swann.
I think that Raynor has he has a slightly faster clear because of the Hyperion. He has a slightly worse defense because he has to pay for his repairs, but his tanks are stronger. And the thing that I would say pushes Swann or pushes Raynor up over Swann is that Raynor gives better ally support than Swann in this case because of the point defense drones clearing out Magmines. I would say if you're just looking at yourself and not looking at ally at all, Swann and Raynor are basically equal, and I'd use the ally as the tiebreaker to say that Raynor is the best person in A tier.
Oh. You know what? Let's call it a tie. I'm too tired already. Let's call it a tie. Who's third in A?
Drake Swann there because all three of them. If it's a tie, it's a three-way tie basically.
All right. Who's fourth in A?
Kerrigan.
That's Kerrigan easily.
And then
Stetmann, because they're the same.
Then the slightly worse Kerrigan, and then Abathur, and then slightly worse Abathur.
Yes.
Dehaka. Okay. Who's top of B tier?
Horner.
The Stukov. Who's top of? Oh no. Who's top of C tier? Tychus.
It's Tychus. Yeah, it's Tychus. It's easily Tychus. The question is who's higher between Alarak and Artanis, and you know what? Let's just leave it as a tie as well because that's something we could argue indefinitely.
Oh, thank goodness. Who's better between Fenix and Vorazun?
Fenix.
Okay.
Again, we'll just leave that one as a tie. I think this basically comes down to if you think that defense is much more important, listen to Twotuuuu. If you think that actually being offensive and clearing the map is much more important, listen to me, because I put more value on clearing easily. I put more value on their clear strength than their defense strength, and Twotuuuu put more value on defense strength than clear strength. And that's basically all the discrepancies. The Artanis Alarak discrepancy, the Fenix Vorazun discrepancy, it's all because I put more value on offense than defense.
Yeah. I don't trust my ally to defend for me.
Even though that's all they say on this map.
Yes.
Okay.
Never trust someone who says IDEF because
they're not actually good at defending.
They say IDEF doesn't mean they do it
actually succeeding. Some of them will succeed. I've had some really good IDEF players, but it's not all of them. So don't just blindly trust it because that will backfire sometimes.
The best IDEF players hate me because I end the map too fast. And they get angry because I end the map right as the bonus
They're
spawns.
waiting
Like,
for the mutation where we have like
10
6
seconds.
different mutators, making it so that it's just this infinite tower defense sim against Just Die and Avenger and all that nonsense, and they just hold it anyways because they are the best IDEF players, and the best IDEF commanders with the best IDEF players can defend against a lot of stuff that is just absolutely insane.
okay, do we have combinations of B tiers and below? Who would be better than Arcturus on his own?
Han Horner plus anyone.
Han Horner plus anyone.
Han Horner plus anyone
Han
with a
Horner
good
plus
defense.
Stukov.
Stukov.
Stukov's problem is offense.
And Han Horner's problem is defense.
Yeah.
Woo! We did it!
Yeah, or Han Horner and Tychus. They just fly their buildings away and they just wait for top parts to eventually do the job.
Air units will get you.
Yeah,
I guess
that's
it
kind of
depends.
comp dependent. That's comp
All right.
dependent.
Well, yeah, Magma. So anyway, guys, watch Twotuuuu and Sticksbender channels. I will link them down below. We'll see you guys next time.